Hey everybody, and welcome to The Sims Gamer for all your gameplay and building tutorial needs. I'm your host Shakel, and I will be showing today this gorgeous tiny home build that has vibrant colors, and it is a small home that is fairly inexpensive. I did go a little bit on the expensive side with some of the appliances, but just for the size of the build itself, fairly inexpensive for a person who is just now starting off with a new sim. Alright, let's get into the build. I wanted to go for a unique type of build because if you're like me when you first started playing Sims and you first did your first build, my house was a box and it was so uninteresting and didn't do anything to catch the eye. So I went for this house that was kind of on an angle. I'm sorry guys, I did not count how big the home is for a tiny home build, but I knew it was small enough to be considered one. Now I'm going to go trying to find the stairs I wanted. I went for a simple white because I figured, it wouldn't draw away from the entire house itself. And I was thinking about putting stairs on the back to have a little patio back there, but then I realized I didn't want the porch back there that big anyway. Now, this is what gave me a problem, and you're going to realize it too, trying to figure out how big to make the room, because it couldn't be too big because it will look funny on a tiny home build to have a room that's just gigantic while the rest of the house is small. And I didn't want it to take away too much where I couldn't fit a bathroom or full-size bathroom in there. So me fiddling around with this for a minute, and I finally decided, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to make it smaller so everything will fit a little bit better. Now I'm going to go and try to do the bathroom, and I didn't want the bathroom to be too big because I wanted to have a little office area. So I'm trying to figure out how can I fit a full-size bathroom. Then I realized making the bathroom on a corner and making it this weird diamond shape would make the bathroom big enough just so I can fit shower, toilet, sink, and all the things that you normally need for a full-size bathroom in there. I'm adding lights so when I start decorating it won't be so dark so I can see. The door, I wanted a nice door, but nothing that was going to be overly expensive. The door is a little expensive now that I think about it, but it was one of the nicer, cheaper ones, I feel. And then I realized it was off center, so I was like, you know what, I have to make the stairs bigger. So that's what I'm doing now. And now I went for doors for the rest of the house. I ended up picking a door that was too big, a 2 square door. And when I realized that, I had to delete them and find me a nice 1 square door because I didn't want the doors to limit how much space I had or floor room I had to add anything extra into the living room or the living area, I should say. Now for the outside of this house, I went with I don't want to call it a black because it doesn't look fully black to me. It looks more like a midnight blue. But this deep, deep wooden outside finish. And now I'm doing the kitchen. I had to make it a little bigger because I realized how small it was. Just so I can have enough room for a kitchen, dining table, and a living area. Plus, I wanted to have a little office space in there where I had a desk and computer. Now, I know I told you guys I wanted this to be a little inexpensive just in case y'all were going to try to recreate this. But for The appliances, I did one on the expensive side, not for the fact that they were expensive, but for the fact that I liked the way they looked. I do not have a lot of expansion packs or stuff packs for this, and let me throw in my disclaimer now. I am playing on PS4, not on PC. And I don't have all the stuff packs for it. I only have Vampires, City Living, Dine Out, and vintage glamour stuff. So that's what I used. I was having a bit of problem here trying to get the shelving to snap in or the counters to snap in. So I had to place them manually, which can be a bit of a pain. Looking for some knickknacks for the kitchen. Couldn't really find any right away, but I'll get back to it later. I have a little bit of a short tolerance for searching for things that I know should be where they're at and they're not there. Wallpaper, I went for this beautiful yellow and white, which I feel like is more of a gold, just to section off the area of the dining area or the kitchen area. The floors gave me a bit of a problem because I like all wood floors, I always have, but trying to find a wood that would go well with the kitchen and combined with the living area of the house, which is all one area, as we all know, gave me a bit of a headache. So I went with just plain old black marble, which gave it this extra oomph. So I was like, I couldn't help but love it. And once you see the finished product for the living area, you will realize that the marble was the better choice. I didn't like that yellow on the stove. It was more of an orange than a yellow, so I got rid of it. I went for a plain old white interior just for the rest of the house because I wanted the color to pull you towards that section of the house. So the yellow pulled you towards the kitchen and dining area, and I'm going to have a red pull you towards the living area, and the white is going to be the rest of the house, or the rest of the, yeah, the rest of the house works for me. So I went with this beautiful, I'm going to say cherry red, and I thought it was just gorgeous. I'm putting the windows in now. I can be a bit of a scatterbrain when it comes to my house because I don't like working on one thing and getting that all done because I like to work kind of room by room. So I try to put in a couple of windows just so I can get a nice natural light feel to the house as I go through it. But as you see further on in the video, I start changing the windows out once I realized I didn't like them anyway. So I try not to give myself the option of doing that. I just go bit by bit and build from there. But this is my first video, and it's my first time recording myself doing it, so it was kind of awkward for me, and I couldn't think because I realized that I was being recorded. But I will get into the flow of things. Don't worry, just give me a chance. Because of the table size, because of how small the living area is, I had to get a small table, which means small TV. I wanted a nice little armchair that was ready to go on the side with it because I've had that chair and I've had like 3 people come over to visit and nobody had a place to sit because there's only 2 seats. So I made sure that you have enough seats that you would get from a normal full-size couch in this living area without having to deal with the full size of it. Now I'm looking for the tables. Now, maybe it's just me, and please, guys, tell me in the comment section if I'm wrong. But with the expansion packs that I have, the tables aren't that pretty unless you get to the larger size. Like, you can't really find really nice dining tables that are small. So it took me a minute to find one that I thought was pretty decent. And I went for a yellow chair to go with it. I put the table on an angle because that's just kind of how the house is flowing. As I go through it further, you will see that kind of everything is kind of on an angle. Nothing's just straightforward. It's kind of always tilting some way because it gives it a nice kind of look to it. And now I'm adding windows into more windows into the living room. Excuse me, I got tongue tied there. And I realized as I'm doing this that I don't like the windows that I have in the bedroom. So I'm gonna go change them now. Don't worry, guys, if you stick with me longer, you will get used to how my brain works. I can be a bit of a scatterbrain, as I said, but everything has a tendency to work out for me. As I like to say, there is a method to my madness. So just and you will see what we get. Now I'm trying to get some, knickknacks for the counters, but not trying to clutter the counters where they can't be used. So that was a bit of a problem because everything seemed to be a little too big for me. But I did find a little things to add in there somewhere. I wanted a plant for the table, and I found a really nice one. And I wanted a plant to go on top of the counter because that little small counter right there, it could have been a big one, but for some reason in the houses that I've seen, the counters on top of the refrigerator have always been the smaller ones. So that's kind of what I went with. But I wanted something that was going to hang over the counter to give it a nice look, but nothing was fitting. So I went for something small that had a pop of color just to draw your eye there, but not to keep it there because the house is where I want everyone's attention to be at. I had to rise it up, and if you want a tutorial on how to do that, it's really simple. I will show you that. Just let me know in the comments what you guys are looking for, and I will give it to you. I was thinking about adding more flowers up on that top counter, but then I realized it would look too cluttered, and I didn't want clutter to go with this house. Because clutter and tiny homes just don't go together. Now I'm going to work on the bedroom, getting the lights in, getting everything where I want it. I went for the bed on an angle because, as you can tell, the entire house is kind of going that direction. Everything's kind of on an angle, which, like I said, it does draw your attention because you expect the bed to be facing flat against the wall. But I like the idea of waking up with the sun rising up above your head and beaming into the windows. I like that. One thing I did forget to add here, which did not cross my mind at all, was curtains. And I kept saying I gotta add curtains for the windows. I forgot. My bad. But now here's a nice overlay of the house. Excuse me, I had a tile there that kept popping up, but I had to get rid of it. But here it is. I did a little bit of greenery outside because, like I said, I wanted somebody to be able to, who are just now first starting out with a new sim, to be able to emulate this. Thank you for watching. If you like this, please thumb up and subscribe. See you on my next video. Bye.